I'll be talking about this book, Alchemy, but in the context of fitness. So just turn your fat into muscle. This was the alchemy growing up, not turning things to gold, but you would turn your fat into muscle through working out. Bigger friends had more muscle to reveal if they lost fat. So the result was sort of the same. They'd start working out, they'd have muscle. It looked like the muscle turned to fat. So here's a quote from Alchemy. While in physics, the opposite of a good idea is generally a bad idea, in psychology, the opposite of a good idea can be a very good idea indeed. Both opposites often work. The book is about advertising, and the story in the book was that very short sales letters worked, but often the opposite also worked. Very long sales letters. In fitness, there are these wars where people go around knocking other people's approaches, but there are multiple ways to win. That's the great thing. Someone loses weight limiting their meat. Someone else loses weight eating only meat. Something that doesn't work for everyone else probably won't magically work for you. Try out things that work for others. You probably won't be the one to invent some new magical diet. Number 2, the book highlight here is the great enduring fashion of the next century will be a coarse, uncomfortable fabric which fades unpleasantly and which takes ages to dry. These are, of course, jeans. Jeans worked, even though it doesn't sound like it would make sense. On the other side of things, Jeff Bezos kept Amazon focused on things that would still be true decades from now. People want things fast and cheap. Unintuitive things work, but also very intuitive things work. They're just difficult to pull off. To have the fastest and cheapest place to buy things, that is the magic of what Jeff Bezos did. In fitness, we lean toward trying to find the unintuitive thing, the uncomfortable jeans, whatever it is, because it's some magic pill or some magic technique. We want there to be an unintuitive secret, but it's because the intuitive thing is hard. To lose weight, create a calorie deficit by eating less and moving more. To get stronger, lift 3 times a week. The intuitive things work, but it can just be difficult. It's that idea of it's simple, but not easy. Number 3, the trouble with market research is that people don't think what they feel, they don't say what they think, and they don't do what they say. That quote is from David Ogilvy, one of the great advertisers of the past century. If you're not tracking calories, you might be guilty of number 3, saying something you aren't actually doing and telling yourself something that you aren't actually doing. It's easy to eyeball and estimate what you're eating all day, but if you're off by 50 calories here, 50 calories there, that adds up over the course of the day and eventually over the course of weeks and months. So it's valuable to track closely for a few weeks. I don't plan to track my calories for, say, the rest of my life, but it's been very helpful for the past few weeks. It also will help you down the line just to calibrate your estimates so that you get better once you are mostly just estimating. So I've been trying this, trying to lose 15 pounds in 15 weeks, and I was on pace and then have kind of plateaued. And that plateau, surprise, surprise, it's when I was being a little loose with the tracking. And when I say a little loose, I was just not tracking some days. So I know that if I want to dial it in, I need to start tracking again. Next highlight, whatever you think about smoking, it does look fairly cool. A remake of Casablanca with the cigarettes replaced with vapes would be somewhat less romantic. Training until you have trouble walking the next day looks cool. It even feels cool. You feel great immediately after working out. Walking on a treadmill desk looks lame. I do it all the time. Often I just picture myself on a hamster wheel because in a way that's what it is. I love browsing gym equipment. I bought some sandbags basically because other people made it look cool. They're useful tools, but I also already had a rack and barbell, so I had more than enough to get results. And this can be a thing. You keep looking for different equipment that you can use when you already have the equipment that you need. The things that look cool aren't always the most effective, just depending on your goals. On the other hand, if you're more likely to consistently do something like kettlebell flows because it feels cool doing it, you should do that. Next, highlight here, in many areas of policy and business, there is much more value to be found in understanding how people behave in reality than how they should behave in theory. Last week, I did this thing asking AI if there's something I don't know about myself. One thing that stuck out was you often plan for a future version of yourself that doesn't procrastinate and magically has more time. And yeah, that's very true about how I plan different things. I'm going to have way more time to do these different workouts. There's this gap that gets created with what you plan to accomplish and then what you actually do. And planning to accomplish more is good because it's going to stretch you. But if that gap gets too big, then that's just very, very disappointing. Consistency over a year will be better than an intense January where you burn out and quit.